friends, welcome back to the Enchanted Stay, where fantasy books and stray kids exist in chaotic harmony. Today we're continuing my series where I compare Stray Kids albums to fantasy books, and this time we're diving into Karma. And honestly, this album feels darker, heavier, and more mythical than Do It. Karma isn't the epilogue, it's the reckoning. So we're going to talk about the album as a whole, its fantasy energy, and then break down specific songs and the kinds of fantasy stories they feel like. So grab your sword and lightstick and let's go. Karma feels like the moment in fantasy where consequences finally arrive. This is the album of choices catching up, power demanding a prize, and cycles repeating unless someone breaks them. If Do It was post-war healing, Karma is the battle of fate versus free will. Fantasy-wise, this album lives in cursed bloodlines, gods who watch but don't save, and protagonists who realize they're part of the problem too. Books that fit the overall Karma energy. The Poppy War. You have power with brutal consequences. The games gods play. Divine punishment and mortal defiance. And the Atlas 6. We have ambition, betrayal, and moral collapse. If you love Karma as an album, you'll love fantasy where power isn't glamorous, it's dangerous. Bleep is chaos. This song feels like the fantasy anti-hero who refuses to be controlled. It's rebellion, sarcasm, and defiance wrapped in noise. Fantasy trope, the trickster rebel or the unhinged genius. Books that match Bleep, The Lies of Loch Lamore, Vicious, and Gideon the Ninth. If Bleep is your song, you'll love characters who mock authority, weaponize intelligence, and survive by being unpredictable. Ceremony feels almost ritualistic, heavy, yet somehow sacred. This is fantasy where power comes from ancient rites, not talent. Fantasy trope, forbidden ritual, or sacred sacrifice. Books with ceremony energy. The Priory of the Orange Tree, The Bear and the Nightingale, and A Song of Ice and Fire. If ceremony is your favorite, you'll love fantasy steeped in tradition, bloodbound magic, and gods who demand payment. Creed is belief turned into armor. This is the song of characters who survive by clinging to a code, even when it hurts them. Fantasy trope, the warrior's code, or the ideological conflict. Fantasy recommendations, Red Rising, Mistborn, and An Amber in the Ashes. If Creed is your song, you'll love stories about conviction and what happens when belief becomes dangerous.
아, 뭔 말인지 알겠다.
뭔 말인지 알지?
인정하기 싫어 같은 그
약간 그 느낌이야.
그 퓨어 찌질.
그 퓨어 찌질. 나는 형의 그 퓨어 찌질 너무 좋아.
아, 뭔 말인지 너무 알겠다.
Mess is emotional fallout. This is the We Won But At What Cost song. Fantasy trope, post-battle trauma, or moral collapse. Books that feel like mess. The Poppy War, A Court of Wings and Ruin, and the Broken Earth trilogy. If mess is your favorite, you'll love fantasy that doesn't romanticize survival. It interrogates it.
Mess up in my head, 같은 일상에, When you let out the chase, 대체 왜 이러는지 모르겠어. I messed up in my head,
In My Head is internal warfare. This song feels like a character trapped inside their own mind, haunted by choices they can't undo. Fantasy trope, the haunted mind or the inner demon. Books with the same energy. The Raven Cycle, A Monster Calls, and the Atlas 6. If this is your song, you love stories where the biggest enemy isn't a villain, it's the self.
피닉스가 정확히 장르가 뭐예요? EDM 드럼 앤 베이스? 드럼 앤 베이스 EDM?
Like a phoenix.
Pheonix is rebirth, but not the soft kind. This is rising after destruction, scars intact. Fantasy trope, death and rebirth, and the survivor's ascension. Fantasy matches, Throne of Glass, Iron Widow, and the 5th season. If Pheonix is your favorite, you love fantasy where rebirth is painful, but earned.
힘들 때 널 위로해줄게 널 위해서 평생 노래 불러줄게 I'm right here yeah
0801 feels personal, intimate, almost sacred. This is memory magic, fantasy trope, time, fate, and emotional anchors. Books with the same energy. The Night Circus, A River Enchanted, and This Is How You Lose the Time War. If 0801 is your song, you love fantasy built on moments, not wars. Karma is a fantasy album about consequence. It's not about being good or evil, it's about what you do once power is yours. If Do It was healing, Karma is the reckoning that made healing necessary. And if you're a fantasy reader who loves morally gray characters, cycles of fate, and emotional consequences, this album was made for you. If you want me to do another Skids album as fantasy, comment which era I should cover next. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember to stay chaotic, stay magical, stay.